With a little DIY skill and some help with heavy lifting, putting together the Boss Industrial 458 CGE 50 5-inch wood chipper shredder is simple and easy. This video supplements the assembly and operating instructions in your owner's manual. Please read and review all instructions and gather the tools you'll need before you begin. We recommend you have a clean work surface adjacent to your assembly area. This will allow you to keep parts and tools organized and accessible. The unit comes packed in a wood-sided crate with a heavy-duty pallet base. Begin by unpacking the crate using a medium straight-bladed screwdriver and a pry bar. Open all the tabs and set the side panels aside. Cut away and discard the plastic wrapping around the machine components. Locate the owner's manual, engine manual, and tools and set them aside where they can easily be accessed. Remove the components and lay them out in a clean work area for easy and orderly access during assembly. Keep the engine and chipper base frame on the pallet to assist with assembly later. If any parts are damaged or missing, please call Boss Industrial Customer Service at 800-780-2677 before proceeding. Begin by recording the unit's model number, serial number, and date of purchase in the manual. The serial number is located on the side of the base frame assembly. Review the manual before proceeding with machine assembly. Arrange the tools and provided hardware you'll need on a clean adjacent surface before beginning assembly. The tools you'll need include a metric socket set and ratcheting driver, a set of open or closed-in metric wrenches, medium to large straight and Phillips screwdrivers, electrical tape, a jack or jack stand, engine oil, fuel, and a grease gun with high-quality grease. Begin by installing the axle and wheel assemblies. If the wheels were being mounted on a machine with drive wheels, the tread pattern points would be set pointing forward. Since this is a towed machine, the points are mounted away from the tow direction with the wide end of the pattern facing the tow bar. Begin by removing the bolts, nuts, and washers from the mounting holes for the axles. Begin on one side and insert a bolt with the thread to the outside of the unit into the topmost hole. Lift the wheel assembly with the axle on the bottom side of the mount and position it over the bolt. Put on the washers and nut and thread on enough to hold the assembly in place. Repeat for the remaining 3 mount holes, putting bolts in from the inside with threads to the outside. After all the bolts, washers, and nuts are in place on one side, tighten all the nuts to securely hold the wheel assembly in place. Repeat the entire process on the other side of the unit. Now install the infeed chute to the engine and base frame assembly. To do this, rotate the engine and base so that the infeed side of the base is aligned with one edge of the pallet. Set a jack stand, or set of blocks to about 10 to 12 inches or 25 to 30 centimeters tall and position them on the top of the pallet on the discharge side of the unit. Carefully tilt back the engine assembly until it rests on the jack stand or set of blocks without a tendency to tilt back forward as the unit is being worked on. Now temporarily affix the chute gasket to the base unit using gasket adhesive or short sections of electrical tape. Affixing the infeed chute to the base and engine assembly is easier with help. The chute is top-heavy during assembly. If a helper isn't available, ensure that needed bolts and nuts are within reach, and use a screwdriver or a drift pin to help position the chute as bolts are inserted into the mounting holes. Begin by bringing the infeed chute with an aligning tool inserted in one of the upper holes. Place the chute in position with the tool going through the matching hole on the base plate. Insert a temporary bolt in the bottom hole and secure it with a loosely threaded nut. Remove the alignment tool or drip pin and align the chute to place another temporary bolt in the hole where the alignment tool was. Continue placing temporary bolts on the other side of the flange until the in-feed chute is held in place on both sides. Then begin replacing the temporary bolts, working from side to side by installing the washer, and locking nut for each bolt position. Partially tighten each bolt assembly while ensuring the gasket is in the correct position and is not deformed. Now, tighten all 4 bolts and securely mount the in-feed chute. It's time to install the discharge chute. Begin by carefully lowering the assembled unit until it rests on the tires and on the bottom edge of the in-feed chute. Locate the 4 pre-installed mounting bolts and the gasket for the discharge tube. Remove the bolts and set them close by. Tape or glue the gasket to hold it in position. Place the discharge tube aligned with the opening and loosely install the mounting bolts in all 4 positions. Tighten the bolts, ensuring that the discharge tube and the gasket are aligned properly. Install the discharge deflector housing on the output end of the discharge tube using the 2 adjustable handles on the base of the housing. Adjust the position of the deflector so that it is open enough not to impede the ejection of material when the machine is in operation. Now we'll assemble and install the tow bar, hitch, stand, and mounting bracket. Assemble the tow bar and mounting bracket by removing the bolts and nuts on the bracket, inserting the tow bar into the bracket, and reinstalling the bolts, washers, and nuts. Tighten until secure. Install the 2-position stand by removing both the pivot bolt and the attached locking pin from the bracket. Lift the tow bar and bracket assembly and place the stand under them. Lower the bar into the top bracket of the stand and align the holes. Install the pivot bolt, washer, and nut. Tighten, and then insert the locking pin and secure it with the clip. Prepare the base frame assembly for the installation of the tow bar by removing the 4 bolts, washers, and nuts. Position the tow bar bracket and align the holes on the base frame assembly. Insert the bolts, threads out, in all 4 positions. Install the washers and nuts and tighten them. The battery is pre-installed and charged. Now connect the emergency stop button cable. Fill the crankcase of the engine to the correct level on the engine dipsticks with oil and the fuel tank with fuel. Use the engine oil and fuel that are specified in the engine manufacturer's owner's manual. Grease the shaft bearings on both sides of the base frame assembly. You'll need to remove the safety cover for the drive belts to access one of the grease fittings. After greasing both fittings with a high-quality grease, replace the belt drive cover. Your chipper shredder is ready to use. Here are a few tips to keep you safe and your machine in top operating condition. 1. Always check the tightness and condition of bolts, nuts, and adjustment knobs and levers before operation. 2. Check the engine oil level each time the machine is used and fill as needed. 3. When storing the machine for winter, keep it covered out of the weather to prevent water from entering the in-feed and discharge tubes. Follow the procedures in the owner's manual for storing the unit and winterizing the engine. If you have questions while assembling or operating your Boss Industrial chipper shredder, our customer service department is here to help. Give us a call at 800-780-2677. Thank you, and enjoy chipping and shredding like a boss.